A new Tier 7 battlecruiser has entered the game. Yes, battlecruiser, not battleship. I'll explain the differences if you're unsure about them, but the USS Constellation is here at Tier 7 and available in the store for doubloons. She is fast, has quick firing guns, torpedoes, and radar, but at the cost of being very lightly armored. Historically, these were not built, well, kind of. They were designed to be a new class of battle cruisers for the US in response to the Japanese Congos, but only two were laid down and they were turned into aircraft carriers, I believe. In our game, battlecruiser is classified as a battleship, but it has some different stats, most noticeably less armor, and it's faster. But they also get a special dispersion value that I'll explain here in a few minutes that will make her more accurate than normal battleships. The game is on Shatter, and it comes down to the last few minutes. It's a toss-up basically until the very end, and it's one of the matches that reminds me why I play this game, because other matches have me wondering. Anyways, let's look at my build for Constellation first. I set her up with improved AA, propulsion, concealment, and for accuracy with the Special American Artillery Plotting Room. And one little disclaimer, after a few games, I put my Epic Artillery Plotting Room in slot 4 to test it out, so your results may vary, but wanted to be upfront about that. Commander-wise, my premium go-to commander is Azur Lane, New Jersey with Cunningham and Kondo. That is the build that you will see in the game in the background. Free to play? That's alright. Billy Sims will offer a similar setup. This is not the toughest of battleships, and the heals are kind of mediocre, so either way I did not use Flammable Cannoneer. You could honestly get away with gyrating drill bits though if you wanted because the ship is so fast, however the speed is what is so attractive about her to me, so I ran Crisscross. Other inspirations, Iachino Cunningham, they're fine of course, but this is a pretty accurate battleship, so it's not something that you necessarily have to build into if you don't want to. Test for yourself. But D. Ravel, I tested out. I enjoyed that with a 25-second reload on these 406s. That's great. Guaprat for a speed meme build? Sure, why not? How does 37 knots sound? Kondo is probably the best overall choice, though. Never underestimate a stealthy battleship. It can get into and out of tight spots and move to great positions at the start of matches. After all, what happens to the first battleship spotted in a match usually? Focused, right? Everybody turns their guns, everybody knows where that battleship's going, so a stealthy battleship is a more survivable battleship. Speaking of survivability, and here is a department that the Constellation is going to have some issues. For starters, the health pool is a little below average, and the heals are kind of on the weaker side, just by a little bit. So not a great effective HP pool. And if you're wondering what in the heck I'm doing right now, the carrier was briefly spotted. And sometimes if you shoot at a carrier or they get spotted, they still don't move. So we were just holding our cursor on this guy to see if we could continue to get free shots on him. But it didn't quite work out that way, so I guess we're gonna have to push around the corner. Moving on. Torp production is also pretty low at 20%. That is the worst American BB in terms of torp production at the tier. Alabama, for instance, gets a 49% torp production. So you have to be very, very careful of destroyers and metal fishies. And the armor. Bow and stern plating, 27 millimeters, so anything bigger than 380s can overmatch. This is definitely not a bow tanking battleship. She also has a pretty large superstructure and a weak citadel belt, so giving broadside could mean certain death even at longer ranges. The citadel's not terribly exposed, and the deck armor of 57 millimeters is actually kind of nice, but still, overall, this is a squishy battleship, battlecruiser, whatever you want to call it, so you're going to have to be careful in this thing. Oh, and one more thing. Look at the freeboard on Constellation. It is a massive target. Not to mention that it's almost as long as an Iowa. So very, very big target, really easy to hit. Now the guns. As far as I can tell, they're just Colorado guns. So 406s, yeah, but these are tier 6 battleship guns. They do have a 1.9 Sigma, and then the great thing about them is battlecruiser dispersion. So really quickly, what does that mean? Let's take a look at this little chart I just found online. I think it's a great explanation. Sigma, again, is how close to the center the shells tend to land, the red area here, or how well the shells group together. And dispersion is the size of the bigger circle in black on the outside. So battle cruiser dispersion means a smaller circle. so less area that the shells will land in. That's the short version of it. Constellation is more accurate than a normal battleship. Yeah. The gun firing angles are quite nice on this ship, which is one of my favorite traits of a battleship. You can stay mostly angled to enemies while being able to fire back. Both rearwards and forward gun angles are pretty good. The reload is 27 seconds base, which is very nice. And with D-Revel, again, I think it got it down to just a little over 25 seconds. They are 16-inch guns, so overmatch is there for all but a few cruisers at tier 7 and tier 8. Keep in mind, though, the shell velocity is slower than, say, the Iowa. So hitting smaller enemies at longer ranges or fast enemies is going to be much harder in this ship. Okie dokie. The carrier is going to die here, and even though I didn't get the kill, I'm still a happy boy. I heard that every time a CV gets sunk, an angel gets their wings. This match is still pretty even. We've got the points lead by a little bit, but yeah, it's shaping up to be an epic throwdown in the middle of Shatter here. So what am I doing now? Well, I'm going to head back north. We need to set up some crossfires here, and my teammates, they are continuing south. If this game ever got a different name, it would be World of Crossfires. That's what it's all about. So we're going to try to get back up north here. Unfortunately, we're making a big mistake right now by, it's kind of analysis paralysis. I'm trying to think, should I turn? Should I turn? And I've waited way too long, and I'm going to lose a ton of health for it. So, yeah, you just can't show broadside in this ship. Anyways, we threw some torps down, hopefully, to hit Brandenburger, and we're going to turn beach, damage con, and then head north of sea back towards my spawn. That could have been a lot worse. I could have got yeeted, but we survived. We're going to heal up. We're going to keep on going. On to the guns. The DPM's really not bad for only having 8 barrels in Colorado guns. The faster reload is going to help make up for that low barrel count. The AP is American Super Heavy AP, so improved pin angles, and the HE is the same you would see on any American battleship, like the Iowa or the Kansas. 36% fire chance and decent alpha, but I would mostly stick to the AP, of course, unless you're just getting bow tanked by a stubborn battleship. The guns feel really quite comfortable, and the accuracy felt great. I don't know if it was just me. I tested 10 games, and I can throw those stats up on the screen here so you can see them. But in the games that I played, the accuracy felt really, really phenomenal. Secondaries, they're not worth noting at all, but the AA is. She actually comes in 7th place as tier 7 battleships go. So pretty nice AA DPS, actually. The CV matches are pretty prevalent nowadays, so this is a stat that's quickly becoming more and more important, I would say. It gives you some options. Now the speed, 33.3 knots base. Constellation is in the top 3 for BBs at tier 7. And this will also help a little bit with the carriers being able to just dodge. Aside from her accuracy, really, I think her speed is her best attribute. And then the final stat that I would point out is her 5.2 kilometer concealment. That's dead middle, basically, pretty average. So we finally worked our way back north, and I thought with my speed I could outpace the Atlantico's secondaries here because they are freaking deadly, but he keeps me in range for a very, very, very long time. As for the gameplay of the ship, it's a ship that I like to stay moving in, contrary to my play at the start of the match, where there I just had some freebies. I had a carrier spotting and I could lob over the island, but mostly, you know, pushing a flank with your speed is likely the best way to play this thing. Flank and spank, baby. Now, so far I haven't mentioned it, but Constellation also gets torpedoes. Well, maybe I did mention it, the old Brandenburger over there, but yeah, 3 on each side. They're slow, 55 knots, but they have decent range over 9 km, so in situations like this, it's real easy just to throw them off the back of your ship. And they're kind of nice in a knife fight and as a deterrent for getting rushed, but overall, I think a lot of players get caught up by having torpedoes on their battleship. They feel like they just have to use them, and I know that feeling. Back when I was new at this game, grinding the German battleship line, Gneisenau, was it a successful match if I didn't fire my torpedoes? No, probably not. So it's something that comes with the experience. You don't have to use your torpedoes. They're there if you have them, but yeah. And finally, radar consumable. Yeah, I don't know that this ship needed that gimmick as well. It seemed like a strong ship without it, but a 9.9 kilometer radar that lasts 30 seconds. is the icing on the cake for Constellation. It gives this ship a lot of versatility, more versatility than most other Tier 7 battleships, I have to say. I believe the Missouri is the only other radar BB at the tier, or even in the game, so you can use it to spook DDs away, as most players won't be suspecting it, or to straight up kill them. 30 seconds is a long time, so yeah, it's a very, very powerful consumable. Overall, I'm going to rate this as a pretty darn strong battleship. Its speed and gun accuracy coupled with overmatching guns, 406s, and a quick reload make this a very formidable opponent. The radar, the torpedoes add to the versatility, and it means there isn't much the ship cannot do. The survivability is really the only drawback as I see it for Constellation. You have weaker armor, below average HP pool, weaker heals. They're still like, 800 I think a piece, and poor torp reduction. It's not a battleship that tanks a lot of damage, but if you can survive early games, you become a force to be reckoned with as you are, able to deal with a lot of different threats. And I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. And that brings me to my next point. I recently did a video on Atlantico, which is at the same tier, and both of these ships kind of strike me as being similar. They're early 1900s designs that find themselves at tier 7, and Atlantico is just insane with her secondaries bristling with guns, some of the best secondaries in the game. And, you can just look at my fight with the Atlantico in the middle of the map. How much health did he take from me? But it's slow. Constellation, on the other hand, is blazing fast. Maybe a smaller propensity to deal damage in my eyes, but torps and radars. It's a really tough fight, and if you're in the market for one of these tier 7 BBs, you're just going to have to pick what style you like best. Secondary battleship or fast flanking battleship. Overall fun factor, I love the Atlantico secondary, but I think Constellation has the higher carry potential. Either way, both great BBs if you're looking for a standalone tier 7 premium right now. Anyways, I would love to hear what you guys think, so be sure to leave me a comment down below as we're squaring off with the last ship here, the Colorado. Thanks to my teammates for going south. You guys did awesome. We caught them in a crossfire. GG. Thanks for the win. Because I might not survive my encounter here with Colorado, but we're going to see if we can't take some more health off of him before I die. Anyways, I would love to hear from you guys, but yeah, leave me a like if this video provided any value to you. I would appreciate it. Also, be sure to subscribe for future videos so you don't miss any ship reviews. Also, I'm trying to be 100% on it, but I stream most Sundays at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you'd like to catch a live stream and see me potato live, come check it out. All right. Colorado was going to kill me, so I fired quickly just to do a little more damage, and that is that. 179k, not bad. Our Kaga's going to come finish him off, so thanks again to the blue team, and that's it for this one. I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.